Every now and again, someone comes from the diocese to check up on us, you know. The bishop comes on visitation. We had him not that long ago. Or they come and do an inspection of the building to make sure that it's watertight, that it's not falling down. Well, last week, we had the person in charge for the diocese for health and safety. He was here for 3 hours, and we had to go through a lot of paperwork, all the different certificates to show that we've had the gas heaters serviced and the fire extinguishers have been checked and the portable appliances have been looked at and that the lightning conductor has been checked as well, all those sorts of things. For those of you who are eagle-eyed, you may notice or have noticed that there's 1 or 2 fire exit stickers being stuck up since we were here last week, because he said we need to do something about that here at Holy Rosary. We need apparently some emergency lighting as well to be put in. Well, after he'd gone through all the paperwork, he's a very nice man, very friendly, very kind. He said he wanted to look around the building and to go into the various nooks and crannies. And so I had to find the keys for everything. You know when you're hunting for keys and you cannot find them? But I must admit, what went through my head was, I hope he doesn't ask for a list of all the people who have keys. You see, I know who has keys. That's in my head. But in theory, you're supposed to have a list with all their contact details because the insurance people expect it. Because they say, who do you trust with a key? Who do you entrust the responsibility of holding a key to the building? Now, of course, we do trust people with keys. Here at Holy Rosary, at St. John's, even St. Joseph's, of course, there are people who have keys to be able to get in. And it's wonderful that there are so many people who are there to be relied on, because we do rely on them in all kinds of ways. We trust them that they take care of things. We trust them that they're looking after the place. We trust them that they are responsible holders of the key. Well, of course, we've had something about keys in the readings, in the first reading, and then, of course, the famous story of Simon being told he's going to be given the keys of the kingdom of heaven, that the Lord trusts him with the keys. Now, of course, the whole point about keys are that you let people in or you keep out things that are dangerous. In some way, you have a position of trust where you're taking care of things. And that, of course, is the role of Peter, the first pope. And, of course, we have a list key holders going down through the centuries from Peter onward. There are 1 or 2 points where it's a bit vague, to be honest, but on the whole, we know who they've all been. All the different key holders. And they have had the responsibility of looking after the kingdom of heaven, it says. I give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. We might call it the church, we might call it the family of God, God's people, whatever term we're going to use. It's about a special kind of trust that the Lord shares. But it doesn't just apply, of course, to Peter and his successors. The whole point is that this trust, this giving of the keys, is a shared responsibility. Down to the centuries, it's been shared by all kinds of people, bishops and priests and deacons, clergy, lay people with special roles and responsibilities. And it's important that they are trustworthy, that they can be trusted. We're all too aware, of course, that there are people who can let down the people of God. Sometimes it's clergy, sometimes lay people. When we're let down, does that mean to say that we say we shouldn't trust them anymore? Does that mean to say that people shouldn't be given the trust of the keys? Peter himself lets Jesus down in a way, but does that cause him to withdraw that trust? The whole point is, of course, that we are to be vigilant, that we are to make sure that everything is done openly, with transparency, and that in our trust, it doesn't mean to say that it's blind, that in some way it's done in a wise and careful way. But trusting with the keys, is an important aspect of the life of the church, of the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God. It applies, yes, to clergy, to bishops, to popes, but it applies in all kinds of ways. And when you think about it, well, those who take communion to the sick, they're being trusted. Those who give communion out at Mass, they're being trusted. Those who welcome you as you walk in through the door, they're being trusted. Trust is something that, well, is fundamental to any community, any family. You absolutely need it. But here is the really interesting thing, I think, about this whole story of Jesus saying that he gives the keys to Peter. You see, when we talk about trust, when it comes to faith, normally we say, put your trust in God. Trust that the Lord knows what he's doing. Trust that God is in control. And that's right and important. But this story reminds us it's not just that we trust in God. God trusts us. God puts his trust in you and me. He trusts you.